Hello there, I'm George Plimpton, and I'm delighted you can join me on tonight's expedition, in which we will glimpse the awesome treasures of animation's pharaoh, Walt Disney, the King Tut of the imagination. We call this adventure Mouseterpiece Theater, and let us begin. We are overdue for a love story of love so great and heartache so enormous and faith so ridiculed, it can only be the story of Donald Duck and his Beatrice, Daisy. It was Aesop who said, familiarity breeds contempt. So, apparently, do chipmunks. We shall see the havoc they wreak in Don's love life in our next film, Crazy Over Daisy. Love, said Sir Walter Scott, rules the court, the camp, the grove, and men below and saints above. He did not add, but love doth not rule chipmunks. Love, said Coleman the younger, laughs at locksmiths. He did not add, but love doth not laugh at chipmunks, who in this case are hooligans with the monikers of Chip and Dale. You see, Don is on his way to win Daisy's love when they waylay him with their torments. Love, said Francis Bacon, doth much mischief, sometimes like a siren, sometimes like a fury. Well, it was perhaps Bacon who sensed that one day Chip and Dale would exploit his wisdom. Made in 1950, Crazy Over Daisy indicates that Don has traded, for the time being at least, his original tormentors, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, you certainly remember them, for Chip and Dale, which is something like trading a case of tuberculosis for a bout with mononucleosis. As you watch Daisy's betrayal of Don in this film, remember that Chaucer said, "Love is blind." In Crazy Over Daisy, love is quite apparently duck blind, too, if you will forgive me.
Oh, Daisy, Daisy, you're the one that's got me captivated. Every time you look at me, I get so agitated. And when I'm riding along the street, everybody that I meet says, there goes the guy that's crazy over sweet Daisy May. Daisy, Daisy, you're the one, sweet Daisy, Daisy, so crazy over Daisy May.
And that's the end, said Joseph Conrad. He passes away under a cloud, inscrutable at heart, forgotten, unforgiven, and excessively romantic. I suppose it takes a great author like Conrad to be able to read what is in a duck's heart. Like all great tragic heroes, Donald Duck is outnumbered rather than outclassed, as for an example by the hostile fates Chip and Dale. But in this film we shall see Mickey Mouse valiantly straining with some 500 harridans. The film is called Gulliver Mickey, upon which no doubt Gulliver's Travels was based. The author of the other Gulliver, Jonathan Swift, described one particular phalanx of furies as the most pernicious race of little vermin that nature ever suffered to crawl upon the surface of the earth. In Gulliver Mickey, however, the exuberant charm of the mouse is well able to placate his pernicious vermin. These happen to be a swarm of virtually microscopic mice, and Mickey spellbinds them with a bit of personal history. He tells a grand story, really, and although it's a tale of wildness and woe, Mickey delivers it with the two qualities Swift himself called the noblest things, sweetness and light. Walt Disney's wife used to say how much she liked Mickey Mouse because he has so much of Walt in him. In truth, the voice of Mickey Mouse was the voice of Disney himself, and I assure you that the falsetto was a deliberate use of Disney's vocal range and not the result of any physical mishap. There were many of Disney's emotional and philosophical traits in Mickey, too. Shortly after the mouse made his motion picture debut, Disney described him thusly: "We thought of a tiny bit of a mouse that would have something of the wistfulness of Chaplin, a little fella trying to do the best he could." Well, considering the awesome nature of the calamities that befall Mickey and Gulliver Mickey, his best will do just fine. Let's watch. and thereby, said Shakespeare, hangs a tale. In the case of Gulliver Mickey, I suspect tale has two spellings. In 1856, H.F. Amiel said that to do what is impossible to talent is the mark of genius. Well, that's pretty much how it is with someone for whom the word genius seems to have been created. Goofy, of course. The goof has an ability to do so many things the rest of us cannot even contemplate, let alone achieve. Now take the matter of washing an elephant. Now, of course, those of you who do this regularly know it to be a fretful task. And yet, in the responsible paws of Goofy, the task is not only achieved, it is a spectacle, a source book on the art of frenzy, as you may see for yourself in our next film, The Big Wash. In Troilus and Cressida, Shakespeare wrote that the elephant hath joints, but none for courtesy. His legs are for necessity, not for flexure. Now, this is really the crux of Goofy's problem. The behemoth, too cumbersome for a graceful little swabbing, forces the goof to pull out all the stops where bathing elephants is concerned. Though The Big Wash is technically not among Goofy's superb training films, it really is, to my mind, the last word on its subject. I would recommend it to any elephant washer, be you professional or amateur. It was John Wesley who in 1740 first proclaimed that cleanliness is next to godliness. In The Big Wash, we shall see that it is also next to impossible. No one's ever determined whether Goofy is much of a Bible scholar, but he certainly seems to adhere to the words of the prophet Isaiah, wash ye, make ye clean. Most decidedly, the Big Wash is something even an elephant with amnesia would find it hard to forget. Lest we forget, this is the tail end of this particular chapter of Mouseterpiece Theater, but I trust I shall see you all again soon. Until then, I'm George Plimpton. As a matter of fact, I will always be George Plimpton. Good night.